Okay, so thank you very much. Welcome to the to another episode of the BMAC Business webinars. We do this every month, and we've had a few very interesting episodes. The last time we had LSCT at the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund with us, and one of our directors, Mr. Gregor Femike, went through, co-presented with members of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, and it was a very interesting, well-attended session. It's on our YouTube channel. We also have held webinars with members of Fidelity Bank. We had that about 2 months ago about managing cash. Also, very interesting topic. And so, and we've had many of other types of webinars. Bmac is the product, flagship product of Ikuba Technologies, and we are all about helping businesses to grow. We're all about growth, and today we are talking about achieving 10x growth in a challenging economy. The last couple of the last 12 months, 18 months have been really challenging for a lot of businesses, not just in Nigeria, but globally as well. And so being able to not just survive, but to thrive in these times is very important. Personally, I believe that businesses are critical to the success of an economy, to a nation, whether it's the UK, whether it's the US, whether it's Sweden, Ghana, wherever it is, Nigeria. And so, this is our own little bit for if you like, nation building, where we talk about how to help businesses. It could be about staff, it could be about selling, it could be about strategy, it could be about cash as it was two months ago, and so on and so forth. So we're all about helping businesses to grow. So without much further ado, my name is Sam Afemike. I'm CEO, co-founder of Ikuba Technologies, and with me is none other than Mr. Tope Ekundayo. It's such a privilege to have Mr. Tope Ekundayo with us today. Mr. Tope Ekundayo is the CEO of Printivo, and if we don't know Printivo, we should know Printivo today. Printivo are personally a great example of innovation and customer centricity. And we'll talk about that, as we go on during the day. But we're privileged to have Mr. Tope Ekundayo with us. Tope, is it okay if I call you Sinzu Baba, or Tope is good?
Tope is fine.
Okay, cool. So Tope is also a co-founder of Get Equity, and he'll tell us about Get Equity a little bit later. This is also about innovation, and Tope is a pretty innovative guy. So we're looking forward to that as well. And backing me behind the scenes are a bunch of very talented people. I have people like Steven backing me. I have people like Kachi also backing me. So, we also give a shout out to them. So without much further ado, I'm supposed to give a little talk about the 10x software before I before we go into the discussion. But I'll just say this about the 10x rule, about achieving 10x growth before we jump into it. So, well, before I jump into it, this is our agenda for the day. Introductions, a little bit of housekeeping. So, housekeepings, please, guys, help us with your microphones, and also, you can put your questions in the chat box. You can also kind of introduce yourselves as well, and then we should have a very smooth time, and then there'll be time for Q&A. That comes a little bit later on, but there's also just a few polls just to help us judge the temperature of the room and the country as well. So just hang on for that. But we'll be very swift, and that should be that. So I've already spoken about what we're trying to do here. So it's pretty straightforward. We're all about helping businesses to grow. and also to ensure that they can adapt and make the best of where they are. And Topa is going to help us shed light on that. So the 10x rule. Let me just sort of speak about 10x. The 10x, achieving 10x growth really came from a guy called Grant Cardone, and he speaks about. He wrote a book called the 10x rule, and I'm just going to share my screen. I did a very a nice summary about what James Clear did a nice summary about 10x rule, and I will share that with you guys. And I think it's quite useful when you see some of the things he talks about. But basically, 10x rule is all about how we approach our goals and how we set our goals and how we approach our goals, right? Um, and Grant Cardone basically says, listen, whenever you set a goal, you have to actually set it 10x above what you feel you can achieve, because when you set goals, it does something to your mentality, it does something to your psyche, okay, and that determines exactly how you go along and do things, and so these are just some of the points that James Clear, another very interesting gentleman, wrote. He summarized Grant Cardone's points on the 10x, and I like this 21, this point 20. Success is a duty. I'm reading the book right now, the 10x rule, and it says success is a duty, is an obligation, and is a responsibility. If we see success as anything other than that, we're not triggered towards growth. And when I was speaking to Topa yesterday, preparing for this meeting, one thing that struck me greatly was that Tope is a very driven gentleman, very passionate gentleman, and he'll talk more about that as we go along. Now, the reason why I think this is so important for us here, especially for business entrepreneurs here in Nigeria, so I'm just going to turn on the AC, is because we're working in a very challenging environment. The environment in sub-Saharan Africa is a very tough one. Not to mention, you're talking about COVID and talking about the recovery and the recessions and so on and so forth. So we have a backdrop of a really tough environment. And you simply need to have a kind of fight, if you like, to succeed. And it's not just sort of a fight, but it has to be a set of rules, if you like, and those rules will if you apply those rules according to Grant Cardone, you'll begin to see 10x levels of achievement. Okay, so like I said, number 20, success is a duty, it's an obligation, and it's a responsibility. Another thing that I really loved about what Grant Cardone said, about 10x, is that the biggest business problem is obscurity. That's in number 29. And I think that that's true. When you're hidden, when people don't know about you, they don't know about your business, they don't know about your skills, they don't know about your gifts, they don't know about the problems you can solve. They simply just don't do business with you. And I think that we need to work on obscurity and fight obscurity. It's one of the things to learn about achieving 10x growth. Um, let's see some other things that are really interesting. I mean, let's see. Yeah, most people never get close to being overexposed. Nearly everyone is hindered by obscurity. Again, that's just another point. Time management is more about knowing that your priorities and clearly finding that balance. So that's a very important thing. Being able to manage time. And again, Tokyo is going to sort of talk about a lot of these things. To be honest, I don't want to sort of go ahead of myself. I really wanted to just sort of share some of my thoughts about the 10x rule. Again, I just want to welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's a privilege to have you guys here. So I'm not sure if I'm the only one hearing the chimes. So just ignore the chimes and let's have fun. So Tope, I think I'll just bring you in right now. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting this show on the road. I have my notepad and my pen here, and we need to learn about growing in the 10x, growing 10x in a challenging economy. So without much further ado, sir, maybe you can introduce yourself, so that people can get to know who Tope Ekundayo is. I try to find out about Tope guys, and Tope is like the DSS. There's nothing about Tope online. So, Tope, over to you, sir.
I try to keep it out. Basically, I'm just a normal person. I always like to say, I'll to characterize myself, I would just say I'm a builder, right? I build a lot of things and lots of things. So I'm just always, I like to put my hand dirty on just create something, right? I'm always trying to figure out. So I just try to figure out a lot of things. I'm naturally curious. So if I get to see something I don't know, I get to research about it.
Okay.
And maybe put it in my wall of ideas. I have this wall of ideas where I've had quite, I think the numbers now is about 106 businesses I want to run.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I just add them that into that wall and continue my journey. But yeah, basically I'm just an ideator. I like thinking ahead of time. I think in the same momentum, I'm also someone that is driven in terms of once I set a goal in my head, I literally just execute that goal. I don't wait. I would say most times I would rather execute than come back to the strategy
Oh,
than
wow.
plan too much and then and fail because maybe it's because of the world I'm in technology and in the startup
Yeah.
world. If you don't move fast, you die. And it's
Mm.
because when you're thinking about a feature and an idea, someone else is thinking about that same thing. And then is who launches quicker to market, even the most
Yeah.
buggy products that you can think of, right? Is whoever launches to the market, people listen to. And
Mm.
helps you understand uh, the point of speed, right? Speed
Yeah.
to deliver a product. And the truth is very simple. If you solve a customer's need, basically, the point is that they will forgive you for these blemishes to a point, because at the point they will never forgive you and bash you. But the point they will forgive you and understand, oh, things are happening. Things are things things are things are shaky a bit. So one thing is for me, I'm just that guy that always tries to innovate as quick as possible and
Yeah.
as fast as possible. Yeah.
Innovation is important. The ability to fail quickly. I remember seeing something by Mark Zuckerberg. He says that um, if you're not breaking things fast enough, then you're failing. And although you could argue that he probably broke something too fast 2 days ago when WhatsApp and Facebook went down, but you're absolutely right. Um, and one thing that sort of I've learned personally in my own journey in this tech space is that if you have an idea, it's probably likely that somebody else has that idea as well, and so it's a race to not even a race to execute, but it's a race to build. It's a race to build. So speed is very important, and in Grant Cardone's book, he talks about massive action, and I really really like that phrase. Massive action, and I guess that is kind of like one of the things that you do but interestingly enough, I was able to dig out something, about you, hang on a second. Okay, I need to. Right. Tope, I'm going to make you co-host. I apologize. That's my fault, totally my fault. So make you co-host. You should be able to share your video now. Sorry about that. Is this possible now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it is.
Fantastic. Well done, Baba. Well done, Baba. Cool, cool, cool. So, you know, let, so here you are. I know you spent some time in Printivo before you assumed the position, but I think it's very important, guys, for me to give a shout out to Oluyomi Ojo, and his co-founders as well for kicking off um, Printivo. Printivo is a disruptive organization, um, and talk about you spent some time there. Can you just sort of tell us a little bit about Printivo and your personal journey? Maybe Oluyomi's own personal journey, and then where you came in and how that's been going so far.
Okay. I have been. So the truth is, I think most people don't know this, but I've been there from before the idea was born.
Oh, wow.
And at that point in time, it was interesting thing, right? Mostly coming from a background in agency, right? Where when an agency, creative agency, where we were always dealing with clients who needed to print. Either it was clients that needed to print banners, clients who needed to print brochures. We were focused, of course, on the creative side, with design, but then to fulfill those creative was now the next journey. And we always had clashes with printers, always, every single time. And it was even that bad that we could, at the point in time, we were calling police for some of them. It was that bad. And so it just sat out as a natural idea that should we go into printing, right? Three guys who are in advertising, and we don't know anything about printing, but we've been hustling around the block. So we decided, okay, let's try our hands into getting to this place. And with a little bit of, I would say, well-educated backgrounds, we should be able to get in on the road. And so, well, of course, they were doing this. Me, I was still in my master's in the UK studying.
Okay.
I was more about global admin, so I was actually helping that the University of Sussex come into Nigeria through an exchange program I had and so I was just doing that go-to-market strategy as much and doing a bit of consultancy around that. And so while this was setting up, I did what I did best. I went to start another business, and that business was in an animation business. And at that same time, I also was the principal in a school. Yes, it's a funny story. I was a principal in a school.
You were a principal.
And I was running an animation agency. Yes.
You don't look like a you don't look like a principal.
Those one of those. It was funny because I took on the role primarily because she was trying to set up the school properly, structures and all. And I said it would be interesting. Let me get my hands dirty as usual. And it was short stint anyway. It was a year, and I just helped her build the school, did all the structuring, and left. But then on the same time, the animation business was booming, and then that was the time of VAS. VAS ringtones, ringback tones, and all that. And so we were one of the earliest people who concepted all those ringtones and all that. And so as that was happening, I felt, okay, I've done what I wanted to do. I've helped the business reach the maturity point, and I needed something more challenging because I think in my earliest days, I was very vibrant and I wanted to do everything. So
you're still vibrant. Baba, you're still vibrant.
So you always see me try my hands in a lot of things. So at that point in time, it was coming back to Nigeria. It was, okay, what do I need to do next? Maybe get some clients to consult for and show them, oh, I've been able to do this. But along the line, okay, I needed a business card. And so I was actually searching online. And in the UK, I used the service to print my business card online.
Vista,
But I was
right?
trying
That's
to
what it
look
was
for
called,
that. I
Vista.
was searching online and
It's Vista,
not
right?
Vista
The
Print,
service.
Moo.com.
Yes.
Moo.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
called, yeah. So I was searching for something similar in Nigeria, but I couldn't, like, I've, I then stumbled on the website coming soon and all that. And I, okay. And I reached out on Twitter, right? That was because that was my only communication channel. And I reached out to Yomi and like, I love the idea and I want to be part of it, literally. What is the plan? What are you doing now? And it's like, okay, we're still in very early formative years. There's literally no structure or anything at the moment. It's still just the idea we're building and all. I said, okay, I'm getting my hands dirty. It's like, it's early team. There's no, might not have salaries and all that. And I like, that's not the problem. I already know. Just allow me get it. And so that was it basically. And we started formulating the entire point. Again, because I think I'm drawn to pioneering or pioneer business models, right? Because there is no benchmark, there's no blueprint.
Why didn't I meet you? Why didn't I meet you a few years ago? Because my own is also pioneering. You know,
So
it's a joke. Yeah.
it's more because I know it's more because there's no exact blueprint to how things should run. And I think that's the best option because you then figure things out as you go on a day-to-day basis. I mean, and it's also with any business that you run, there's literally no, well, people might say X and Y, but it's the nuances of how you run your day-to-day operations differ by people. And so I like running into models whereby it's not been done before and people say it cannot be done. I like that because I like to prove people wrong. When they tell me, oh, you cannot do this and it cannot be done, I will prove you wrong just to tell you I can't do it. And that's just, you might say it's ego driven, I don't know, but that's just me. If you say, oh, this can't be done, I will prove you that it can be done. And I think that's just my mindset, basically.
What kind of, here you are, you're coming in from the UK, I think that's very bold. And then you enter into a brand new venture. And I'm guessing this is 2015, 2014,
Yeah,
2015.
2014,
And
yeah.
so 2014, and I remember 2014. This is towards the end of the Jonathan era. And things were very, very rough then, and the technology wasn't that hot. And I know that printing industry is a very cabalish type of industry. They're just shomolu and so on and so forth. But what challenges did you face? Did you guys face, at that time? And because we're talking about growth and we're talking about a challenging economy, but the economy was, I mean, it's challenging now, but back then it was a different case because you guys were just starting. And a lot of our guests, a lot of our listeners, they also just starting. So what challenges did you face unique to you slash Printivo, and how did you guys really tackle that with growth in mind? Because you guys took off like a rocket. I remember when Printivo came out, man, it was like these guys are the only guys who are efficient. They are on point. And they're innovative. It was something like magic powder on you guys. So the
Yeah,
challenges
so I
and,
mean,
and yeah, growth.
okay, I'll start with challenges, right? You're trying to build something again, like you said, has not been built before. The first challenge you always face is going to be, okay, one, you don't really understand the industry. So it means, of course, you
Yes.
need to catch up fast. And so we were
True.
pouring on different contents on YouTube, reading books, attending a lot of those events, actually joining groups where printers were, speaking to them, speaking to our friends who had friends that had friends like that. So it was more about catching up quickly and fast. Second point of how we innovated was around looking at from a business perspective, what are all the arms and legs that we needed?
Yeah.
We needed logistics. First and foremost, at that point in time, there were not many logistics companies, remember. Second issues we faced was, again, the logistic riders. There was no like map. So
no, you couldn't track them.
You couldn't. It's not even a matter of the tracking. It's even understanding how to route an order. Right? Oh, your order is to go to Ireland. Which order should go first? Which order should go second? Like planning, scheduling that map and all. And so when you are telling people, you need to move. Okay, you're taking 6 orders out. These orders are going to Ikoyi, Lekki, and VI. You need to move this order in this sequence, Ikoyi first, Lekki second, or VI third, in terms of how ease of the order is and bulkiness and all. And the person doesn't understand what their own is just carry the job and not up in the doorstep. And you have to start teaching a lot of people Mapri. And at that point, I'll say Google Map Maker, right? I was a part of Google Map Maker that did Port Harcourt, that actually did a lot of the map making. So I was just coming from that point of, I've done a lot of mapping. This is what you need to do. And a lot of them were looking at me so funny, like, what the hell are you saying? It's strange. They don't understand what I'm saying. So figuring out that routing system, it means we just had to become our own logistic business, right? By default, I had to build a logistic business. And the same sense of things is that you're working with printing partners and the quality is not good. We now had to become a printing company ourselves, right?
So you didn't start off as a printing company then? You didn't start off as a printing company then?
We didn't.
So you guys pivoted?
We did. And we built everything end-to-end process, bought the machines, tested them ourselves, ran the machines ourselves, brought in people, trained them, and got. So at that same time, we're also thinking of the website. So of all these things, what is it saying? Is that there's at the early stages, right? There's so many things you are going to have. You're wearing literally like 30 hats. And I always say things that if you're starting your business, you need to have your hand dirty. That's the truth. You need to be, I'll call it skin in the game, right? It means that it's not more about, you want to, if you have the fund, hire, right? No problem. But then if you can't do it, do it. Such that tomorrow, if anything happens, you can still control your business. I was a call center person. I made calls. I was the delivery person. I went to deliver orders. I still ensured operational efficiency. All these things, because when I handed over, I'm able to know what is right and what is wrong. Right? Sometimes you need to, and it's not saying, again, it might not be your core strength. We're not saying be the best at it, but have substantial knowledge, right, of it. Not master's sensei level, no, just a bit of, I understand what this person is doing. So it gives you a good perspective of how to evaluate the performance and how you can set new performance metrics for those businesses. For example,
go on. Hey, I was about to ask for an example. Go for it. Yes.
So, for example, if you are saying, like, if you are, let's say your website web developer is developing a website, I don't expect you to write the code. I don't know how to write the code till today. But I understand the basic things like API endpoints. I understand the basic things like what this person is doing, what a PRD document is, which is product documentation. I understand those basic things because I'm with them, I sit them, I'm watching, listening to them as they work. I'm picking all these things because I'm able to, in my head, understand what it will take to build my product. When someone says a PRD document, I sit down, I view it, and I now read it. And this is now the person who is building the product, which is the product manager, right? Will sit down to concept the product. How does he concept the product? I sit down to just understand those things and then learn. Not because of anything, again, because I told you I'm naturally curious. But it's also helpful for you to be able to have just that little bit of understanding of what is going into building this. Again, it can be from a knowledge perspective, just to know, but it could also be from a perspective to see, oh, what will be the roadmap? Because for you, you set the vision, right? As a CEO of a business, you set the vision, and you're hoping to get people to execute on the vision. And then you've gone to a product manager and say, this is the 6,001 features I want. But the truth is that when you are coming to the market, you can't launch with 6,001 features. You might be just launching with one and build from 1 to 6,000, right? So if you look at the Amazons that everyone raves about, if you see their earliest sites, you will laugh today. It was,
I remember it.
literally one of the most obvious things, right? That existed. And it was just a couple of 1-2 things they plugged together in the front. At the back end, there was nothing. It was just an Excel sheet and someone that was taking that, writing it, and going to pick up a book, mail it, and ship it to you. There was no system at the back end. And they have said this many times. So sometimes, again, like I said, it's looking at what is that exact thing that I can use to go to market with. And that product as the most basic form. Again, you don't need to have it all finished, all glamsy, and all nice. Because the only way to test if people really want your product is to launch. Right? If people launch and if you launch your product and nobody likes it, it means, oh, cheer up. There's something you need to figure out. There's a reason people are not liking your products. And that's the thinking I have. I've launched products that nobody has touched it.
So one of the things, as you've given us a few insights into some of the things that happened in the early days of Printivo, I like your approach. I like your tenacity. And your creativity. I remember when we spoke yesterday. You spoke about a lot of the various things that you and Printivo are you're doing. And I would like for you to kind of talk a little bit about some of those things, because the printing industry is relatively, it's just printing, okay? It's just a newspaper or a book, but you guys you've kind of like done different interesting things. And I'm thinking about, your those innovation. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but then you've innovated, but then I'm also wondering about the outcomes, because and as much as you can share, like what have been the outcomes? We can see today in 2021, Printivo is a multi-million-dollar business, but what has been the outcome? Because one of the things that we talk about in my firm and in my team is that you can have inputs to a process, you can go through the process, and then you have outputs. But do those outputs match your desired outcomes? So we call it the process logic, if you like. And so if you can talk a little bit about your outputs and your outcomes, if you like, almost your achievements, because that's what has really, that's your 10x. You guys are a multi-million-dollar business, not naira. And you guys are serving you're serving customers around Nigeria. And you guys started from one room, from an idea. I mean, you guys started by selling handmade cards. Literally, the story is that you guys started with handmade cards, not printed cards, handmade cards.
Yeah.
And now you are a multi-million-dollar business. How did you guys go from handmade cards in Unilag, by the way, shout out to Unilag, to multi and Uniport, by the way. I know you're also Port Harcourt, so Uniport as well. To multi-million dollar business. So I'm sure my guys here would like to know.
Oh well, the truth, like I said, it's one thing of we joining the pioneer industry where we had to figure it out, and part of the figuring out is calling a lot of friends. I mean, I would say we reached out to friends who we felt had or understood a bit of technology. They were developers themselves, and most of them have gone on to run large technology businesses today. And we're like, okay, what do you do here? Because we had outsourced our technology somewhere to one group of people, but then it wasn't working for us. And we just said, we're going to build it ourselves. And so we're like, okay, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Come together. You guys, please just figure out our technology for us there, like while we're working with you or not. But then in the sense of direction, right? Thinking around, would people want our product? Would people actually need us? I mean, that was our very first information. And I remember that when we launched, like I said, there was no reception. Nobody interacted with us at all. And so we were like, is there a problem or did we do something wrong? I was trying to figure it out. And then on a particular Friday, we got a tweet from the journalist saying, oh, she needed a business card and she needed it because she's traveling that same day. And is there anybody that can deliver? And we said, place the order on our site and we'll deliver. And, I think in first, because maybe the Russians went ahead, a bit skeptical, but as she placed the order, a few hours later, we delivered. And she screamed, right? And then went on Twitter to say, this works, right? And say, this works.
Okay.
And that was it. Literally having the cost card tell people that we are truly working, basically, was now, I think, the breaking of the ice, where then we started seeing order coming from that day. I think one of those earliest things, and I'll tell people, is that it's normal if you launch today and nobody engages your application, your service or not. You launch again, right? Or you launch again, or you try out a new focus. Because like I was saying, I've launched, even till now, I've launched apps where it failed. Nobody engaged it. And I smiled and I went back and tweaked a bit of things and launched again. After a few days, I saw engagement. So again, you'll be asking yourself, what happened that 5 days ago that I launched? It's the same people that are coming and what happened? And that's the crazy thing about customers. Basically, you can't define truly what makes it work. You can just try a bit to define. So don't kill yourself, if nobody's engaging now. In fact, is how you persevering to change and adapting to look at yourself and say, oh, okay, there's something missing here. I'm not doing something here. Or if I'm doing something right, is it the wrong audience I'm targeting? Because that's important. You might be targeting the wrong customers and be complaining you're not seeing sales, when by the main customers you should be targeting. So, and that's point about experimentation. As you are young, you need to experiment. And I'll tell you the truth, like, you have to keep trying out different things. In the earliest stages of your business, there is no one thing that will bring the business like multiple revenues. It's different things you try out. You try out, let's sell this online. Let's partner with this person. Let's do one shoot here. You try out all these things. At the end of the day, out of these 20 things, one of them is going to cost less money and bring more sales to you. And that's where you double down on. The others will try, will work, or not. So again, it's also understanding your market and understanding what you sell and understanding at the price point you keep it at, right? So if you're a business that is strictly going to be servicing other business, which is a B2B business model, then of course your focus should be around your sales. your sales, your service, your price points, and your turnaround. If you focus on those 4 things, then you get it going. Because the point of any business is providing value, right? And so if you can provide value, then and provide value at the price points that would work and at the speed of those people and understanding truly. So I don't know. Anybody I go to sell to, I always do research around them. And I think I learned this from.
So go on. So you said you were doing research on the person you want to sell to. Can you give me a practical example of, you don't have to name any names. Maybe you can use a geography or a region. Give us an example, because this is so key. We were talking about this in my office yesterday about types of market.
Yeah, so first thing is, like, if I'm going to research to business, if I'm, for example, selling to, give or take, Konga, right? If I'm selling to Konga, they're an e-commerce business first. I look at it, okay, what is the input outputs? What is the vision behind them? They want to try and create a marketplace that is like an engine room of commerce within the country. So in that sense, it's okay, they're around businesses, they're around supporting and focused on working with businesses. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how do I add value to these people? What will make them add value? The first question is that for them to add value, they also need to pass on value to their customers, so their customers keep coming. It means that they will be very price sensitive and margin constrained in terms of how they do work with you. Because one, they want to work with you, but at the most cheapest cost you can offer. So they pass on that savings cost to customers so they can come to you. Think from that side. So your focus now, okay, if I'm going to give them at a very tiny cost, can I get volume that sustains me for a very long time? That means that I'm having a sales that, while in margin wise might not be great, but is a recurring margin for a very long time. And so in my thinking, I'm now like, how many of them can I get? If I now need to sell to Konga, who will be my price point? Who will make sense to me? What product am I selling? Now think about the typical structure. There might be a merchandiser, a procurement officer, someone in HR, someone here. I will think about the structure and then say, okay, this person, I go, of course, on LinkedIn, right? I go to LinkedIn first and foremost, check around them, and I just type Konga and pull out any information, any manager there, and I look at, okay, what do they go? I go on Google, I check around news around that business that has come up whatsoever, right? Whether from PR releases, and I read up from what they say, because sometimes people intentionally may drop strategies. They just talk about, when they talk, they might drop strategy, and you pick it up and you now know, okay, these people want to be the best in the world. They need X, Y, Z. So in my mind, I'm working backwards. For me to help them achieve X, Y, Z, what will they need? They will need this kind of thing, they will need this kind of thing, they will need this kind of thing. So if I can provide a solution or package and position my solution as that thing they need to get them to that goal, the next point at the end of the day will now come down to the pricing. And that's typically because when you look at the lens of people, as a C-level person or a CEO, you're looking at how do you ensure price points still delivers on value. So of course, automatically, your head is any amount you hear, you're cutting it by 4. Automatically, even if it's going to be of value, it's just the point of your resource control training. You always kick in. Oh, I love your business, I like your idea, but they will always cut your budget. So it's me and you have done it. I will do it, and people will do it. It's just the typical way of CEOs. We are always resource control strong. We'll always cut down on things. But think about it from an lens. Who else again in that industry, in that position, would this help, and would it work with them? Because again, don't forget that the human factor exists. Human beings need to achieve a goal. And if your product truly can help them achieve a goal, if you think about it from the perspective of, if I'm in Konga, I'm in Konga, would I use my own product, and what will I use it for? And when you have that perspective, you can go to sell to them saying, okay, if I was in your shoes and I'm faced maybe by board pressures to grow XYZ, I'll be able to grow XYZ using you. And this is how I feel you should be able to do. Now, in terms of learning around sales or selling, basically, you're not selling yourself. You're selling your brand as a solution provider.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing for me. I'm seeing so many different emails on a day. I don't have time. So the 5 minutes I give you my time to you to listen. I'm not here to listen to, oh, I am James and John. I'm here to listen that, oh, I found your problem and I have a solution at this price point. Then the next thing from me, you always see will be, oh, okay, this sounds interesting. Give me your deck. Or we'll negotiate, and that would be how you've gotten it. So I think one of the ways around selling, again, is around research on the type point. You will know typically at region, and I always look at the time frames. Towards the end of the year, right? It's big budget closing, account reconciliation, confirming
October, November, December. So people are closing up for the year. Exactly.
And they are closing accounts. So at that point in time, many people are two ways. It's either one, ensuring that they meet their targets or the excess target or anything left, so that maybe if there's a bonus, it's good. How can you help them meet their bonus? They will always remember you for the next calendar year, right? Maybe you don't get something immediate now, but then in the next calendar year, you helped me in the last calendar year, I will remember you. And so that's how you started.
You were the growth, you were the chief of growth at Printivo. You were the chief of growth at Printivo before you assumed this, before you became CEO. Whilst you are chief of growth, and now, if you like, if I was to open your mind and go in, what kind of person would you say you are? Are you the environment is tough, the environment is tough kind of person? Or are you more of a person like, you know what, the environment is not tough. I just need to work extra hard. I need to push harder. I need to do more in terms of numbers. Because the environment is tough. It's a fact. And then it's a fact. It's a fact. And because the dollar is going up every day, and so on and so forth, and your costs, a lot of your costs are in dollars. And I think related to that is, when we spoke yesterday, you spoke about something so interesting, and I looked it up as well. I know that Printivo have a marketplace as an example. I know that you guys also offer some very innovative products to customers, especially your corporates, right? So my question is, how do you guys innovate around challenges? And you also spoke about collaboration yesterday, right? Um, you know, so innovation, collaboration in a challenging economy, how did it contribute to growth, with regards to, what you guys did in the last, in the last 2, 3 years, and maybe even 4 years? Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. I think one of the points around innovation, and I always say, is there's a lot of figuring out, experimenting, right? For me, it's around, like I told you, I like to tinker with things. I would build a version one of something, tear it down, build it again, tear it down, build
So,
it again,
but
tear it down.
did you
So
have?
in that
Are
same
they?
system and approach,
Yeah. I want to nail, because of taking practical notes, is practical steps. I want to really nail down, to say this is how you guys innovated. Like that marketplace, for me personally, that's a master stroke for you to create a marketplace, because we're trying to do something like that right now. So I want to really understand what you guys built, or what you guys innovated around, and how that helped you guys deliver 10x growth.
so yeah, I mean, like I said, one thing about us is two things. It's Our focus is extremely on our customers, right? In terms of, when I say extremely, in terms of, we do a lot of, there's actually a metrics we put, which is the happiness coefficient. So it's a mathematical formula we drafted ourselves, which is basically, it's a play on the NPS, right? Which is Net Promoter Score.
Net Promoter Score. For those who don't know, Net Promoter Score, yeah.
Yeah, but so it's a play on that, whereby we take the average of satisfied customers. We call every customer that we work with, and we tell them to tell us the worst thing about us, not the best, the worst. Why do we go that way? Because we always need to know the truth, and in terms of, what do they really hate about our business, and that's all. And we rank that out, and then listen to people who. So we call those people, of course, the detractors by NPS, and we rank as many of them as those calls, and also now customer discovery calls of what they like about us. And when we weigh these things, we put that into a mathematical formula. And our hope is that it's always above 95 percentile, right? Which tells us that we are going well. If ever it drops, then we know we are doing badly. And we can point out to those things. If it's either late delivery, if it's either quality product. So in terms of all these things, where we go always first go is the first principle, first led principle, which is one. I go to my customers and I speak directly to them. And the way I speak to them is just normal. I don't go with, I make it very informal. And that's the point. I don't even tell them, I don't introduce myself as CEO. I just call myself, my name is Tope, I'm from customer support. And I'm here to discuss with you. Please, do you have like 2 minutes? You know why? Because you're trying to break down the guard. If someone hears, I'm CEO of this company, there are two things psychologically happen. Either they raise their guard up, or they
raise their price. Or they raise their price.
Exactly. Or they raise their shoulder up. There's two things involved. So if you go normally to me, like legit, I'm your everyday person that you see on the road, and we start talking, I'm like, sometimes I even use the tactics of, I'm actually new here, so I'm taking up the call, and I want to just hear your unbiased position around me, and because it's my own KPI, I want to really know how you truly feel about the business. You see, those are customer discovery calls to really unearth what maybe they might not want to say, maybe because of they're trying to be polite. But I want to hear that thing you're not happy around, because that's the only way you get better. And you're a human being, you can't be perfect, you can't have everything right. So yeah, it's enjoyable listening to people bash my business, because I'm able to feel, as you are talking, I'm pinpointing the pain point. I'm like, okay, the person is shouting, imagine they didn't get this thing right, and I'm like, okay, fine, one issue. I'm already saying, logistics late delivery. I'm pointing out all those things as their pain points, and when you have many calls, you then get a pattern. So to go back to the issue about innovation, it starts from your customers. What are those core pain points? When you have lots of discovery calls and match those patterns together, when you match those patterns together, it gives you an idea of what's next. And for us, it's a very simple thing whereby people who relied on, have been using graphic design services, and which our supply chain might not be able to fulfill, when there are thousands of graphic designers that exist that could do it. And we said, look, let's just marry both together. But being the trust board, we know the kind of designers, and ensure the supply, right, can match up with the demand. And from the supply side, which is the designers here, is that qualifying them, looking at everything they put up on the platform, that I'm verifying it before it goes out live. But then from the demand side, they're also looking for unique ideas. So it's just marrying on the supply demand side, what would be the ideal customer things. And we speak to both parts of the divide, both to supply, both to demand. Yeah.
So how did the market, because you started from the market, you said that innovation starts from the market, which is great. How did the market receive the market, this graphic designers marketplace? How did the market receive it?
Of course, I mean, again, I think for us, two things we always know at Printivo is that we always build ahead. So we've had it ahead. We'll build it and keep it. Maybe again, the timing isn't right, but then that's
Yeah.
where we go back to validate the product.
Mm-hmm.
And why we've done that, maybe it's also because of the kind of team we work with, is that with this experimentation, we're always tinkering and trying different things. So we just see ourselves building so many different things. But we know like it's our own bias. We're just building it for our building's sake. Let's see if there's a demand and whether we'll kill that product or we keep it. And so we always take out those calls and segment people, speak to them, ask them questions, ask them to use the product sometimes, give their honest feedback. And we always like going for people who we don't know, because I feel that's the best way to get honest feedback. I won't go to my friend and say, "Yeah, use my product." He will come with a bias that it's my friend. So he would, even if he doesn't like the product, he will try to sugarcoat it a bit. I'll go to a person I don't know, use my product. So when he's telling me, "Sam, your product is shitty," or "Tope, your product is shitty," I'm happy. That way I'm getting it from someone that doesn't know me and is telling me the pain points that I missed. So that's, again, why I said the innovation comes from the market, because you don't know what you, truthfully speaking, as business owners, the holy grail is that you're wanting to know what customers truly want. And you can't really know what customers want. If we knew what customers wanted, I don't think businesses would have ended many years ago. Like, because it's everything that needed to be built would have been built. Do you understand? Right? Everything that needed to be built for us to have been built, but it's not. And that's why business thrives, because customers' want is insatiable and needs are insatiable. So there is always something they want. And the point of our service is always to meet. So I put it from this framework. I use what they call the JBT, the job to be done framework. The customer's want is a job, right? For example, let me take Twitter. Why do people use Twitter? To stay informed, right? They use Twitter to stay informed. They use Twitter to chat with their social peers. The job to be done in that framework is that to stay updated. That's the job to be done. And so they come on Twitter to stay updated to the latest happenings as it's happening in real time. That's the job to be done that has been met. So in the same vein, we now need to create a lot of job to be done. So you need to now create what is that pain point that the customer needs a job for. And that's your solution to create that job to be done framework. Like, I need to, for example, I need to get to America in 2 hours. That's my job to be done pain point. A Concorde jet solves my job to be done because it moves at the speed of light.
Of sound, lights,
sound, sorry. And I'll be able to draw from my wallet and pay that price point because it allows me my job to be done. And that's the simple framework I keep things at. What is the pain point of what is the pain point that my solution will solve? So what is that job that customers are currently looking for?
So
that is now we need to experiment and find.
No, it's a very important point, because a lot of us who are founders and who are innovators, we are sometimes we get very passionate about the things we build, and we don't take into account what the customer is wanting. If we bake cakes, if we sew clothes, whatever we do, we have to really sort of take the customer into account and build from there, and innovate from there. Because you cannot even grow, not to mention 10x growth, if you're not building for the customer. And I think the degree of your 10x really is equal to the degree of you building according to taste, popular taste. You know, although personally I feel that people like Steve Jobs, they built something that people didn't know that they needed. But hey, that's like a fine line.
Yeah, but like on Steve's case, it's still, I mean, it's one of those customer obsessiveness quirks that he did, and that's why he spent most of his time outside the office with people in I think it was Computer House Group. There was this computer club, and he spent his time there looking at what they consumed as products, and he was doing his consumer calls there. He was asking people, do you like this diode? Do you like to see what is missing? Some of them said, telling, oh, those Dell laptops are all boxed and ugly, and I can't see what happened. And then they decided, you know what, let's make a transparent cover for a PC. And that was the very first Mac 1. Mac 1 had that. Mac 1 had that transparent cover, and that was the wow. Okay, we've not seen this before, right? So he did a lot of customer discovery calls, and it was just that fact of bringing his own personal design philosophy to the product. So yes, why he knows this product is now that extra touch of let me make it aesthetically beautiful to the eyes of humans. And that is the point. But all the innovations that have happened in art, it was just been that customer focus and success. And that's basically one thing you will notice with high-growing companies, that the obsessiveness with customers has to be there in terms of, and it's not a one of the truth. One I want to make you understand here is that customers can tell you, I want brown. Someone can tell you, I want blue, right? There are two customers of yours. One wants brown, one wants. You now need to weigh, okay, do I do brown or blue? You now need to find out if this brown works truly or if this blue works truly. And what happens in today's world, we call something called A/B testing, right? A/B testing is split testing. We take a group of people and give them brown. We take a group of people and give them blue, and let the data decide.
Thank you very much. One of the things that I'm eager to hear you talk about is, can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay. One of the things, yes. Can you hear me? Hi, Tope, can you hear me?
I think the internet is cracking a bit.
Okay. Sorry about that. Am I audible? Hello? Okay. If you can hear me, please, can you just put in the chat box that you can hear me, or just tell me what kind of feedback, what kind of, can you hear me, guys? Just let me indicate in the chat box so that I can know what to do. I really want to sort of, hi, can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. I can hear you.
Have we lost Tokwe?
I think so.
So we've lost
Okay,
Tokwe, but
okay.
whilst Tokwe is coming back, is he back? Okay. Steve Collade is going to put up a poll. We want to get an understanding from us here about a few things around your own personal business journey, as well as how you want to grow. So Steve, could you please put up that poll so that we can, thank you guys, I can see you can hear me. Put up that poll so that the guys here can just sort of answer us and give us a sense of where they are in their own journey. Real quick, Tope, are you there, please? Just want to check if Tope is there.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, so Steve, ask your question, and I'm going to Tope, we're going to segue to the future, but we'll hold that fire because I want to ask you about what next in terms of the very interesting things you are doing right now. So I'm just going to make Steve co-host real quick. So we're going to segue to the future because, guys, Tope is doing some very interesting things, and in fact, very innovative things. And he's mentioned a few of them. And I want him to sort of speak about that in relation to kind of like where we're going to and growing in a 10x fashion. So, but Steve, over to you real quick, please.
All right, guys.
Steve.
All right, guys. Wonderful stuff. Thank you all for coming in, and thank you for through. So I'm going to drop this first poll. So just click and pick your answer, and I'm going to drop it for just 3 minutes. So just pick your answer and your feedback. Thank you very much.
Cool. So
All right.
let's let our poll. Yeah.
So please, guys, let's answer. Yeah, I can see people.
Okay. No, talk us through the responses, please. Talk us through the responses, please.
All right. Okay. So apart from capital, what's
the question? What's the question?
That's what I'm saying. Apart from capital, what is the greatest challenge to entrepreneurs in Nigeria today? So we have lack of experience, poor inventory systems, limited financial reporting, poor infrastructure, security, government policy, poor operating structures, no corporate governance, incompetent staff, or competition. So, guys, select, okay, we're getting responses. Yeah, I think limited financial reporting is the highest so far. Oh, okay, we're getting lack of experience, poor operating structures. Okay, 5 more seconds, guys. I'm going to close this up.
You're going to also ask the second one as well, yeah?
Yeah,
yes.
The
second one. Thank you.
Okay, I'm stopping this now. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to send the second one now. Please, let's answer.
What's the second one, please?
Second one, apart from greatest 10x right now, you need the right team, a new direction, adaptability, okay, the right partner, motivation. So which of these is the greatest 10x growth need right now? So guys, let's as well. I'm getting responses, a new direction or strategy. Okay, the right team. Okay, okay, I think
how are we doing, Chief? Okay. Are we there?
This interaction. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Steve. I really appreciate it. Tope, okay, are you host? Are you co-host, Tope? Yes, you are. Thank you very much, Tope. Guys, we do this so that we can know how best to serve you and help you. We want to leverage our network of friends, professionals, and colleagues and so on and so forth, so that we can really build for you and hold these things in a much more accurate fashion. So Tope, I don't know if you're back up, sir.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. So just to bring this puppy home, and thank you so far for giving us your insights on 10x growth, and how you guys have grown 10x in terms of even personally and also professionally. So I know about what you're doing. Obviously, it's on Twitter. There's Get Equity that you're working on. So can you just sort of tell us a little bit more about, your, how you are innovating for the future, because 10x is about continuous innovation, continuous growth. So what's going on right now in your world?
Okay, so I think one thing is I would just need to introduce to people. The point of Get Equity is providing, I would say, a level playing field that allows, give or take, retail investors to be able to partake into businesses. And I'll put it in this sense way. If there was a possibility that you could get into Amazon before Amazon became what it is today, would you want to be able to do that, right? And so that is actually what we're trying to allow, a simple way for people to invest in these companies, right? And support these companies, either by what? Telling people about it, buying the products, tweeting about it, marketing the business, and in the hopes that they get big and then there's a return. And so it's actually for us why we decided to take this on, because one thing in our space is venture capital, or even raising capital, as any business owner knows, is very difficult. And we decided to take it on because we said there has to be some way that it's better, an easier way for us to fundraise. Like, we need to be able to fundraise easier. And that's why we're not really promising that, oh, there's going to be a change. But like interesting point of pioneering business, like no one has done our model anywhere worldwide. We're taking it one after the other. But we're starting to see that a lot of people are interested to support and invest in businesses. And we're hoping creating that community that will bring a lot of people who would want to be supported. From your small $10, right? We can build an ocean. And so that's what we are building with Get Equity. But since we started months ago, we've done well, right? We've been able to list at least 9 companies. And out of those 9 companies, we've closed formally 3 companies rounds. The largest one came within a day.
So this is great. But a few of our guys here, they don't understand some of the lingo that we use. So maybe you come down a little bit to our level so that we can catch and follow you. When you say close in a day, raise,
Okay,
because
so
so simplify it for us.
It's going
simplify
to be,
it for us.
That's what I'm trying to think about. Okay, so let's take it from a very simple point. If you are starting a business now, right, there are basic tenements that you need to have, right? You need to have incorporated your business. And this is the very basic thing. You have your CC documentation that shows that you are valid. In the startup world, you have to have a co-founder who is technology inclined, because he's the person that will build out your app for you. And you guys will also sign one paper agreement, which they call the founders agreement, which is more like an agreement between me, for example, me, Tope, and Sam, on what we are going to do. We are going to say, I'm going to be CEO. Sam is going to be CTO. CTO means Chief Technology Officer, right? And we are going to work from 9 to 5 every day. At the moment, because no money, we are going to take 0 naira salary. We are going to build this XYZ. All those terms and conditions of working together will be written and agreed. and we sign that founders agreement. Then we give it to our lawyers, and the lawyers prepare what they call a shareholders agreement. So all these things are the basic legalities that need to be in your power. And if you have a good lawyer or a lawyer friend, you can get it set up. Now,
you also need a good accountant as well, no?
You might, but you don't need.
You get to that point.
If you're now starting, you now get an idea, oh, I am trying to build, let's say, a cassava factory. A cassava factory. And of course, I need funding. I can't build a cassava factory. But I'm able to show them that with the small processing plant, I'm able to do work with my small processing plant and process 3 tons of cassava. If I go to an investor, I've processed 3 tons of cassava and sold those 3 tons of cassava at above market rates, at say 20 naira. Than the normal cassava that local market is selling and struggling in the market to sell. That investor will be interested to put money in you, right?
Yes. It will be, yes.
That presentation that you are presenting is what we call the pitch deck. The pitch deck is how you present the story of your business that you are all. And there's what investors look out most for you as your beginning stage is that you are showing what they call progress, or you are meeting milestone. In the lingua of startup, we call it traction. Yeah, you are there's a monthly growth of your business every month. And that's why I won't lie, at that beginning point in time as a startup founder, you don't sleep as much. I won't lie, because you're always constantly thinking of how you are growing. And it's a normal thing that everybody faces. You always, let's try something, let's experiment on this, let's do this faster. And because you're able to show that, and so investors might come and say, okay, maybe I'm not ready, you are too early, I'm not trusting that your business is good. But then they come 2 months later and see that your business has grown to this point. They come 2 months later and see your business has grown. They will now be like, oh yeah, okay, let's talk, negotiate. Right? Let's negotiate. If I put this amount of money in your business, at what percentage of the business would I have? That is when you guys now start negotiating and come to an agreement, and then you sign a legal document and you put money in your business. Now, depending on the type of investor, there are some that will, hands off and let you run the operation. The type you should run away from, of course, the ones that will want to be monitoring you, like monitoring spirits. Because, because the truth is that the point of you taking on investors is to scale your model faster. And so they need to trust you that you can handle to scale your business faster. If they don't, then don't take the money. Don't take it. Don't take the money. I mean, I'll be honest. So what we're trying to do is just create a community whereby opportunities come like that we screen, because we screen all these opportunities and present to them. And sometimes they request for some specific businesses they want to invest in. For now, of course, it's technology businesses, and because that's where we're coming from. But in time, in I hope in the years to come, that any type of business is able to live. That is our goal. But for now, it's just technology-driven businesses. Yes. So.
Fantastic, thank you. I think Steve, you have your mic open. So sorry about that, Tope. I think
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It was. I'll just mute him back. So we one of the things that you spoke about, which I think is also very important, is the numbers. You talked about the investors seeing traction. The investors seeing you talk about the cassava plant and so on and so forth. One of the things that is very important is accounting and bookkeeping, and I think that's something that because that is a field that we really sort of pay attention to in our own space. We are in the accounting and bookkeeping field, And it is very interesting how a lot of businesses, um, you know, fail to take into account, the necessity of keeping records, because Printivo, as an example, has grown fantastically well, but I'm sure you guys kept records and you still keep records, because you cannot even monitor your growth without even saying, today I did 20,000 naira. The day after or the next week, I did 100,000 naira. And it's amazing how a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, they don't prioritize bookkeeping and accounting. How have you guys sort of, how do you guys handle record keeping and accounting in your space, and especially in terms of tracking your growth?
Uh, one of those pieces is right. I mean, from a technology aspect, we just, of course, built tools to be able to track our growth metrics in terms of, as people come on our site, we're capturing those data and all. And it permeates down to our level in terms of the accounting tools and even the accountants too, using technological tools to keep track, because the old manual way of having a lot of paper leads to two things: inefficient, having to write it down on paper every time. At the point in time, either that record gets damaged or it gets stolen or it gets forgotten, and there's no backup. What happens? You are messed up. And because, again, it's this same track record that is used to create your financial statements, your monthly management reports, and it's still the same money thing that will be working for your audits. You have to take your records very, 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 very seriously. So we, of course, are very biased of cloud-based or internet-enabled softwares for accounting that enables us to just easily plug in. So, of course, most of these tools at the time, remember, we had to build them. We didn't see any when we were starting. But I'm happy to see that at least it exists. It exists now. I mean, Bmac is already working on that, and that's a good
we are
for everyone.
We are. I'm conscious of people wanting to ask questions, so I'll hand over to Kachi. I mean, we could talk about this for a while, but you know what? Let me get people to ask questions so we can, we can draw the meet to a close. But it's been an enlightening session. Kachi, are you there, please? Can you please shoot with the questions?
Okay, so we have a question from Ndidi, and she's like, she said, Tope, please can you tell us your strategy from the ideas you had to starting up the company, to implementation, to funding, financing, to where you currently are? Thanks. Did you get that?
I got it, but the question is that if I tell you my strategy, it's not going to pay you. It's not going to work with. That's because of the way I work. Like I told you earlier in the way, when I think out of something, I go straight to execute. I'll tell you from a typical time, if I have an idea, if I want to test the idea, if it's worth it, I would first typically do three things. One, I talk about it. I create a Twitter space, Clubhouse, YouTube, Zoom link, anything, right? And talk about it. And tell people join. I'm on WhatsApp. I will talk about it. I will make noise a lot. Everywhere, disturb my friends, and I'll talk about it. I'll call everybody I know. Why am I doing that? I'm trying to sense my entire market, if at all I should even stress myself or not, right? And I'm not sensing it just from my friends who always support my crazy ideas, but I'm sensing it from people who don't know me, to find if people understand. And in our tech system, there's this thing called building in public, which of course is how the Get Equity system started. We built in public. We're not hiding to anybody. We're like, we want to tackle on fundraising.
But we don't like to open our secrets sometimes. Trade secrets. You know that famous Nigerian culture.
But there's nothing like truly trade secrets. It's just, I mean, I can literally understand. If you have a smart Alec person, he can literally understand what strategies you are doing and do it better. He literally can. It's just by looking at how do you make money. Sit down on your site, go through your site, say, I understand the operational model, right? I understand your customer service policy just by interacting with you. And I draft it in and I can literally copy your model. So there's not really that trade secret. Of course, there might be some things you are doing at the back end no one is seeing, which yes, exist. But for us in terms of building public is that we start telling people about this is our idea. This is what we're trying to do. Is it something that resonates with you, right? I will start getting an initial buy-in. And so when I say talk about your idea a lot, as many times, because you're the one selling your idea, sell it like your life depends on it. I would sell, if you wake me 2 a.m., I will sell Printivo. If you wake me anytime, I will sell it. I will sell it like my life depends on it. The second option strategy I always use is put up a simple landing page. Again, you don't need to be technical to do this. Landing page builder, there are tools they call no-code tools these days that just gives you templates, right? And with that template, you can watch even YouTube and tells you step by step of what to do. And you've had the sites. A landing page is just coming soon. My idea is coming soon. Enter your email and phone number. And see if people like it. If it's 20 people that reach out, call them. Okay, these 20 people that signed up on my platform, why did they sign up? What interests them? And the second question will now be, oh, please, these 20 people, please just get one person. I found this issue of telling people, oh, please, I need 10 people. It's crazy. Why would I spend time telling 10 people about the product I've not yet experienced?
Okay.
But then the strategy is asking me to just bring one more person that you feel in your circle. And that's the way I write my content. I tell you, in your entire circle of friends, who is that one person that you want to surprise with this idea? Tell that person.
So it's
Tell
almost like
person. And that's
it's a supporters club. Like, is it a supporters club or like a critics club, something like that?
So no, I'm saying it's when you create a product and at the page of sign up, when after someone has signed up, you're adding a place for them to refer people to come to the site.
To refer people, right? I'm with you.
Yeah, so you can tell people that, oh, the way you should tell people is refer one person, but not just anybody. Refer one of your friends that you feel this product that you signed up for will be a beneficial use case for.
Yeah, get use cases.
It does two things. It reinforces the fact that I'm getting to something special. Then it reinforces the second fact that it makes you think about your circle and like, who will really be beneficial about this? And when they send it to that friend too experiences the same thing, and it's a chain reaction because now they are picking the people who will really need this product. And that you are building your success from one person. And if you are lucky that is an influential person that knows people and has a lot of people that they feel this, because they are drawn by something. That's why they signed up on your site. Now they are trying to connect you to people like you, like them, are drawn by the same feeling of why they signed up on the site. So I'm giving you that second strategy, right, of referral, but referral with a clause. Then once that happens, it's now to prime people towards your launch. Think about it like telling a story. You've gotten their emails or their phone numbers, so don't be spammy, of course, but drop something interesting for people. If you know you're going to launch your product in the next 9 months, start your community. 9 months time you are launching. You've told everyone I'm launching in 9 months. Start engaging them today. Start speaking to them like, oh, I'm trying to launch in 9 months time. These are my challenges. It could even be building, oh, today's day one, I met FRS and they are the ones that are causing me problems. But the point is, engage your community because you know that they are waiting for your product and they would wait. You've told them upfront that it's in 9 months' time, right? But stick with me as I build this thing. So they are, it's being part of something. People want to be part of something. That's the psychology. And so when they are part of it, they want to be there with you. And so when you are able to do that, if you're able to garner enough people, we call that, like, of course, for the stage of you, early stage business, your traction, the number of people initially in that traction that you have called, you've experimented, you've had conversations with, shows investors if there is a need in the market. Let me give you an example. If you are starting a new toothbrush and you are telling people that with this toothbrush company, you only need to brush once in your entire life, your teeth to be shiny forever. And you've shown to people that it can work. And you open the waiting list and you have 1.5 million people in your waiting list. Think about that number in your waiting list to try your product out. And you go to an investor and say, investor, I need $100,000 to build this prototype. I have 1.5 million people. I have not just 1.5 million, but I've had pledges of people looking to buy my product of at least 400,000 naira. Are you saying you will not drop money?
No,
That's
I mean,
the story you tell. Think about it.
Now you're talking about it. I'm really thinking about it because there's something very interesting we're going to launch, and I'll keep it secret for now. But we are thinking of basically launching a community that will help businesses. But a lot of these things you've shared are really, really useful. But I want to bring Kachi in so that Kachi is guiding us on the questions, and then once we have that, we'll take final words and call it a day. But it's been very insightful. You've given us a masterclass, and I'm deeply grateful. So Kachi, let's fire away. Over to you, sir.
All right. It's been an amazing evening. So we have two more questions. We have a question from Maria, and she's asking, for a saturated sector like printing, what was the most outstanding strategy that made Printivo one of the market leaders in that space?
Okay.
So if you can ask the second question as well, Mabino, can we ask the two questions so that we just take all of them and then we know it's finished?
All right. Thank you. So the second question is coming from Steven, and it's asking, in an economy as challenging as Nigeria, how can a business owner maneuver and improvise to maximize profit and stay existing?
Okay, very good question.
So it's asking, in an economy as challenging, yes.
Yeah, I get it. So the first question, I got it. The first question as regarding saturated sector like printing, I want to correct it. Printing is not saturated. Every day people are opening printing presses, every day. And that's because there's demand. There's always going to be demand. And for us, we're not there saying, and I think it's again your corporate strategy. Are you trying to say you want to be the number one? Because there's no number one in printing. Even the global leaders, that you can count many global printing giants. You can't, it's too wide. It's too wide to become a leader. I don't think there will be one yet. I know what it will take to become one. There's a serious consolidation, and it's not going to be as easy as possible. So, yeah, there are a lot of people, but I think it's how you position. For us, we position to be online, and we've been online, and we're technology driven, and that's how we have been. And when we say technology driven, it's not just having a website. It's building technology tools that drive our operation. So even our back-end operation is driven by technology tools. How we outsource projects to us for our printers is driven by technology tools. How we work with partners is driven by the technology tools. Data that we work with. developed by technology tools. So all these things are in the heart of heart of what we do. So unlike other people, we are an innovation platform, right? We're a print innovation platform. We build tools for the print industry, right? And so in any other place is that you have a printing press that is having digital presence, all that. That's not a problem. For us is that we're a technology print innovation platform, meaning we build products, right, that is essentially focused on that goal of helping us run process faster. In printing, in some places, people have a way that they want to print bulk orders. They might put them together. In our system, we have a tool we built that categorizes the paper sizes, the paper thickness, the ink quality, and all in real time, and is matching it to the right segment that we drafted in our operating model. So we know when this job is coming out, as at when. And it's not something a normal traditional printer will be able to think of. We have built this into our operational system. So that's why we're faster than them, right? And it's in the heart of everything. We have, I can see the entire mothership of my operations from my phone, right? That's fine. On the second side of challenging, like the economy is challenging and how business and improvise to maximize profit. The truth is that it's not easy. I don't have like the best answer. I won't tell you, oh, yes, this is what you should do. The first, perseverance. Perseverance in terms of how do you think about it? One, the economy is a cyclical drop. It's going to rise and fall. It's currently falling. And why is it falling? It's because of the current macroeconomic issues facing. There is shortage supply. There's an FX glut. There's a volatile system happening at the moment. Bad policies here and there.
There's some supply chain problems as well.
Yes, all this would always be there. So of course, you need to hedge better. And hedging means one, find a new market. It could be an adjacent market that you don't currently serve, and start serving them so that you are making something. And the most important thing is that at least cash flow is running through your business. Money is coming every day. That is the survival tactics, right? To survive at least for the now. So my idea might not be on making profit, but it must be on staying alive, right? And that will be your corporate strategy. Let's stay alive. Let's do everything to ensure money is coming into our business to stay alive. Cutting down costs here, reduction of maybe our operations. We would have to take those hard decisions, but we'll have to take it, right? During COVID, a lot of people and companies slashed salaries, even to the MDs and level. Everyone did that just because you need to survive and we need to keep going. But we're out of COVID now, and businesses have bounced back, and people have started gradually going back to the level. So in the terms of you as a business owner, you always need to have this conversation on profits, on margins, on profit, on margins, on growth, and of course, on staying alive. These four principal blocks will always be fighting with each other to compete. Because if you are a VC-backed company, growth might be more important to you than revenue. You might shun revenue and say, let my business have plenty customers first. That might be your initial strategy. Let's just have people, then I will figure out how to monetize these customers.
Like Clubhouse.
It could now be like Clubhouse, right? It could now be another system whereby revenue is your goal and you are down on revenue that to the point that, look, as I'm giving you leave about all 600 to make sales for me. That could be another idea, right? Another idea could now be you're focused on ensuring that the business is healthy. Whichever of these options, one thing is very certain is that you definitely need financial people. You definitely need accountants. But then you don't just need accountants that are traditional, like I said, or that will do your day-to-day. You definitely need people who are working with you in the digital age. People that you can take, it's more like diagnosing on WhatsApp, whereby you can just take up that your phone and type in one or two and be able to see how you are doing. Because the truth is that as a business owner on a day-to-day, you might be, oh, I'll drop money here, I'll send money there. But at the end of the day, you don't know that you are just blowing money fast somewhere. And then at the end of the month, someone now tells you, guys, when you look at it, it's like, how did I spend this 10 million? You don't know. Trust me, like I tell you, it's normal. It happens to even the biggest people. So you need
an accountant.
You need not just an accountant, but a digital accountant. I think again, like I said,
digital accountant, yes.
The Bmac people are doing something interesting, creating a digital accountant on your pockets, right? So I think that is something you guys should look out for. If you not download the app, I think it's on iOS and Play Store now. And of course, it's still the early stages. So, like I told you, if you notice some bugs, it's those bear with them as they innovate, right? Everyone has been there. Yeah.
We're innovating. Tope, awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Just hang on there. Kachi wants to tell us something real quick as we wrap up. But just I have one last question for you, Tops. Kachi, over to you real quick, okay?
All right. Pleasant evening to you all. Thank you, Mr. Tope, for doing justice to the topic, achieving 10x growth in a challenging economy. So a quick one. My name is Kachi. I'm the sales lead at Ecoba Technologies. And here at Ecoba Technologies, we are a team of great minds providing technology-driven solutions. And at Ecoba, we enable business grow, become more profitable, and above all, become more sustainable. So over time, we'll be able to build an amazing cloud-based accounting / inventory management software called Bmac Accounting. So Bmac Accounting is here to give your firm 100% ability to track expense on.
We've lost Kachi. Is it me or Kachi? We lost you, I think.
You lost it. Yeah, you lost it, I guess.
Okay. Can somebody get Kachi, please? So basically, we are trying to talk about Bmac Accounting real quick. It's really a software that we have about 3-4 softwares. One is accounting, one is inventory management. Another one is so we have the web, we have the desktop, but we have an application called the Bmac Assistant, and the Bmac Assistant basically is a combination of the accounting and the inventory management software. You can download it on the application and from the IOM. From the Play Store. We also provide outsourced accounting services using the Bmac Accounting. So you don't need to hire an accountant for a fraction of the cost. We have accountants who can help you to keep your records. So rather than spend 200, 300 thousand on an accountant, you can just pay a fraction. 50, 60, 70, 100,000, depending on the size of your requirements. That's the outsourced accounting service that we offer. So I'm sure that Kachi will send us a few, since we can't hear him. So on the screen you see some of our stuff, Bmac Accounting. Okay, that's gone now. Is Kachi around? So I've done your job for you, Kachi. But how do we get in touch with you? And what's the big benefit for using Bmac or interacting with Bmac?
Okay, so I'll be dropping my contact on the chat room. You could also visit us at www.onebmac.com. If you get to register, for those of us that will be registering using the link, we'll be getting a 1-month free trial to go and use the Bmac IMS and the Bmac Accounting. So with Bmac Accounting, it enables you to track your stock. For those of us that have to do, can you hear me? So for those of us that are into the stock or inventory business, it helps you to track your inventory, your everyday sales, your inventory life cycle, and also helps us mitigate thefts and losses. Then with Bmac Accounting, you should be able to know how your business is doing, track your transaction from anywhere, anytime, and also understand the financial position of your business. So it's an amazing software. It gives you various reports on on the palm of your hands.
Yeah, carry on.
So you could get various reports from the Bmac Accounting, and also know how profitable your business is doing. So I'll be dropping the link on the chat room, and I will also be dropping my contact. So feel free to book a demo with me. We could just have a live demo, and I show you how it really works.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kati. One thing I always tell my people and my friends and colleagues is we're more than just accounting. We are about growth. So if you want to make an investment decision, you want to expand the business, if you want to, if you want to innovate your business, we have the minds for that, and we have the tools for that. We are only a phone call or an email away. So connect with us on social media and Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we have a lot of things going on. We have some very exciting things coming out in the next few months as well. So shout out to everyone for dialing in. I also want to shout out to Jessica, one of our team members. It's her birthday today. Jessica, happy birthday. I'm not sure if she's on, but extend my regards to her. And Tope, my heartfelt thanks to you, sir. I appreciate the time you spent with us. You are clearly a very passionate guy, passionate about what you do, and also very creative, very innovative. And I'm so pleased that we had you on board, and I'm so pleased that I've gotten in touch with you, and you are now my de facto advisory board member, as it were. So we'll be reaching out to you for advice. You give a lot of nuggets. I look at my notes. Guys, I've been writing notes, 2 pages, 1 page full. So well done, sir. I really appreciate you. So I think my last question to you, Tops, is that which innovation are you going to propose to us that you can help us to grow? We would like some secret sauce into our mix here at Bmac Accounting and the Bmac family. So which secret sauce are you going to give us? Just what's one ingredient, one word?
Just going to say about I think one of those simple things just is simplify it, right? Just one simple thing that gets people onboarded fast. So I need to just do one thing. Simplify. Enter this information, right, and get this. So that would be a way for people, because again, for everybody non-financial, right? I'm non-financial, so how do I get into the financial world? So it's those there's two innovations. Either you do a financial school, which is just using content to build to people in terms of this is the basic mathematics, but then you're running in such a way, not that you're telling people to come on Zoom. It's just more about very simple steps of teaching 10, 20 years of your experience in seconds of this is the basic way of keeping a proper book for people. This is how you keep books. Even with your notes app on your phone or with your this is how you keep records. If you can't type or make it audio, record it, call it out. And we'll read it, of course, and able to do it. And maybe, who knows, coming soon, there will now be a speech
recognition
thing, and all, so that you can type in it. But I mean, you just start with helping non-financial people get financially literate quickly as they run their business. And one of those innovations is now being your helpful background app, whereby as you, maybe who knows, as you go in real time, as people are typing their business, is creating that store of data to be able to show you that, look, for a good growth data of a business, you go from point A, like if you started a business and you made 2x sales, but they're not making sales now, is able to even remind you that at point A to point B, the traditional record or data across the industry is telling you that you're on the right track in terms of your velocity. So you don't feel down, but it's normal. Pick it up or try this thing. So you're not just doing this, but you're also providing expertise tools to help these businesses, because if they make money, you make money. So yeah.
Fantastic. Oshesa, thank you very much, Tops, and thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much, Guy. And the Bmac Business Series will continue again. We have one or two speakers already lined up, so we're looking forward to that. And we look forward to more fruitful conversations. And thank you so much, Tope. Thank you, everyone, for dialing in. And have yourself a wonderful evening, and see you guys soon. Thank you very much, Tops.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Well done, son.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. See you, buddy. Take care.